What you say, guys? Dan Trevini here. Hope you're all well. Today's Sunday, pretty lazy day for me. Hope you're having a great Sunday too. So I thought I'd do a video about being lazy. So before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and don't forget to smash that like button, which will help in the YouTube algorithm. So what we're going to cover in this video. So I'm going to talk to you about why I think being lazy can help you as a business owner, an entrepreneur, or a property investor and developer. And how the Bill Gates well-known saying of he hires a lazy person to do a difficult job because a lazy person will always find the easiest way to do that difficult job. Now, before I read that or I saw that comment, I didn't realise that that was what I was doing. So this is about why I do what I do and how I do it and why I think I'm quite a lazy person. We're also going to cover examples about how that has really helped me in difficult situations when I've got loads of things going on, and how you can always find something to do and sometimes you should just take the time out and not do anything. There's many people that will be watching this video who will be saying, yeah, you know, Dan is pretty lazy, so you know, he's right in everything you say. And then there's other people who might turn around and say, you know, that is a load of BS. Dan is really efficient. He works all hours God sent, and he's always working 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And do you know what? They're both right. It's how I manage my time across that whole period. So it looks like I'm working all the time, but I'm actually not. Okay, so let's get started. So ever since I was at school, I've always looked at things a bit differently. I've always thought, well, there's a certain way of doing things, and there's my way of doing things. Now, I've always known from quite an early age that time is everyone's commodity that they have in common. So it doesn't matter who you are or what you do, we all have the same amount of time. But it's how we use that time which makes us different from one another. And it's how we value that time, which means that some people are stuck in a job or in a job that they really like for like 30, 40 years until they retire. And they work their whole life building towards a big pension or working towards paying off their mortgage. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, there's a lot to be said to those people. They're to be commended for the people that work in that job and they enjoy it and they make the most out of their lives. And you know, there's two sides to every coin. Some of those people, they do their job and they go home and they forget about it. Entrepreneurs, business owners, property investors and developers, people like me and you, we are on the go 24/7. No matter if you're semi-retired or you're trying to slow down or you're just starting, you're always on the go. That's the nature of the beast and the industry that we're in, and it's the nature of the type of people we are. And again, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just two sides to every coin. So why am I talking about being lazy? Why am I even doing a video about being lazy? We shouldn't be talking about being lazy. We should be talking about goal setting, visualization, planning for the future, do the doing, get going with the bits and pieces. But for me, if you want to succeed, you have to find the easiest route to most solutions. You have to find the path of least resistance. And because that magic thing, time, is against all of us, you need to find really the best way to use your time. When you're running a business, you're an entrepreneur, you've got multiple projects going on, you can get suckered into the detail and you can let the detail swamp all of your time. People as well, you're dealing with dozens of different people and suppliers. They all want your time. They all want to bend your ear and they want to give you the detail. Sometimes because that's just how they are, sometimes it's the right thing to do, and other times that's the type of people that you're dealing with. Now, as an entrepreneur, I'm not the most educated person in the room. I'm definitely not the best speaker in the room. I'm definitely not the expert in the individual sectors that we're talking about in terms of one project or multiple projects. But that's why we're in the room together, because if I could do everything myself, then I wouldn't need the experts. But even if I could do everything myself, the right way to do things is to bring other people in. It puts, you know, some ownership on the other people, it gives different ideas, but it also enables me to focus on what I'm good at, and I can rinse and repeat that on multiple times. If I'm focusing on one project and I'm doing everything to do with that project in terms of the physical side of it, as well as all of the planning and the regulation side of it, then I'm going to be swamped in on that one project. Whereas if I bring in all the professionals, I can literally copy myself and do multiple projects at one given time. So what is being lazy? What am I referring to? So let me give you an example. When I was working for a company, I was like a regional sales guy. Everyone was on about the amount of customers you had to see in a day. I think the target was like four a day, maybe three. The guy I took over from, he would spend all morning on his phone, arranging things that needed to be done for that day, or for various different customers or various different employees or whatever it may be. And then he'd go out and he'd see customers all afternoon, maybe in the evening, and he'd spend a good couple of hours talking to the individuals or the people. And there was nothing wrong with that, you know, for the first time or maybe the second time. But to do it every single time that you visited these guys just didn't make sense to me. And then I thought, you know, at 5 o'clock, the guy would turn his phone off, and then he wouldn't deal with any of the problems that arose in that evening. And then in the morning, when his phone was back on, he would spend that morning making all the phone calls and resolving all of the issues that he didn't see the night before, if there was any. So for me, I just thought, this is crazy. Some of my customers, their busiest times are lunchtime, in the afternoon, and definitely in the evening. Maybe they want to see me in the morning. I'm a guy who gets up pretty early anyway. I've never set an alarm. I just naturally wake up at sort of 5:30. So I thought, well, if I can wake up really early, I can start checking the figures, and I can get the figures ready, and I can go and see my customers early. So I got to know the customers, and I think I had a customer base of around 100. I remember saying to them all, look, do you have any problems with seeing me in the mornings? And do you know what? There was very, very few that didn't want to see me in the afternoons. They wanted to see me in the mornings. And the ones that did, well, that was fine. I went and saw them, but it was early afternoon. All of a sudden, I got the morning of my days sorted, so I could hit the customers, and any issues that would arise, I could deal with those in the afternoon. So in the morning, I'd wake up pretty early, and sometimes I was waking up too early because I was checking the figures, and they weren't updating until 6 o'clock in the morning. So that was cool. So I was literally waking up, getting myself ready for the day, and then when the figures updated at 6 o'clock, I quickly print off all the reports. But I had all my reports pre-set up, so literally I could click a button and they would then come through, download, and I'd be able to print them. And I could literally be out of the door for 8 o'clock. So I'd do all my figures and everything, have a workout, get ready, and then go. And I'd get to some of the first customers for sort of 8:30, 9 o'clock. And instead of spending a couple of hours bullshitting with these guys and talking about stuff that they did not want to know, you know, the company script, the company update, I literally go in there and talk to them about what they would want to talk to them about. Now, sometimes it was all business, sometimes it was no business, and it was things about, you know, talk to some guys about the gym, and I've talked to some people about football and drinking or whatever it may be. What they wanted to talk to me about, I would talk to them about. And then the very last sort of 10-15 minutes, we'd get over what we needed to actually do in terms of business. We'd put it to bed, and do you know what? Because of my focus was on talking to them about what they wanted to talk to me about, I was able to turn those visits in around about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, but mostly 30 minutes. And I thought, well, do you know what? I've got to do like 4 a day. The rate I'm going, I could easily do like 5 or 6, some days 7 or 8. I'd literally replan my route, so I would cluster all of the customers in one geographical location, so I could literally just see them all within 10 minutes of each other. I'd literally plan them 45 minutes and then 45 minutes. I'd never leave myself any travelling time, because I would literally then try and get the call finished early so I could go on to the next one and hit all the times. And yeah, don't get me wrong, sometimes I was late, but that's what it was. And in the mornings, on the way to those customers, I could make all of my phone calls in the car. So I wasn't wasting time sat in my home office ringing around people. I was doing it in the dead time while I was in the car. And do you know what? Most days by about 12 o'clock, I was pretty much done for the day. So I'd travel back and I'd make all my phone calls to the girls in the office to get all of the issues that I picked up from the day sorted. I wouldn't go home and send a bunch of emails. I'd literally just pick up the phone and get it all done. And that all of a sudden that became my working day, and I was getting home at like 12:30, 1 o'clock, maybe 1:30 some days. I'd pretty much be done. So I wanted to not only just do the bare minimum, I wanted to become quite successful in what I was doing. And that was about recruiting new customers. So I started to tag on maybe another hour and another visit of developing new opportunities. And do you know what? It worked. And I started winning awards. I started getting the top figures in the country, and thinking, God, all I'm doing is like finding the easiest way to do this stuff. And some people could say, yeah, you're a great salesman, Dan. You're a great performer, really efficient day. It wasn't. I was just so lazy. I didn't want to do work that I didn't have to do, and I could double it up. And I remember, you know, for a good couple of years, I'd go to the shop on the way home. This was a few years ago because there was a Blockbuster there, and I literally rent a DVD DVD, had like a membership, so I get like a DVD that I could change every day. I'd go home and I'd put that DVD on. My girlfriend at the time, my now wife, she was at work, and I'd literally just watch a film every day. We didn't have Sky TV or any of these box set things that you can download now, and I'd literally just watch a DVD every day. That became like my working week, and because I was hitting more customers every day, most Fridays I wouldn't even go out. I'd literally just bumble around and maybe go out and meet some customers who became friends and have drinks. And do you know what? For years I did that, and it was so easy, and I was just thinking, how am I getting away with it? But my figures were like the top in the country. And then I realised that this is why people stay in these jobs for 30 or 40 years, because they find a way to make their life really easy, and they just coast. And as long as they're ticking all the boxes and doing all the right things, it doesn't matter. I then realised that I had the golden opportunity to ramp up what I was doing in the background, which was other businesses and property. And that, for me, was what I was doing. So I was squeezing my working activities. So I wasn't doing less, I was just squeezing them into a short space of time every day and every week. And then I was ramping up my outside of work activities. And that was how I really started to get into the property JVs, HMO, student accommodation, and eventually leave my great job for what was my financial future. So you're probably thinking, well, that's a great story, Dan, and thanks for sharing that. But how does that show that you're lazy? Because, like anything, I remember I wouldn't sit down at my desk and find loads of things to do. I would literally go and sit in front of the TV with my DVD on, with my laptop open, and I'd literally be finding the easiest way to deal with any query, any problem, any hurdle, and anything else that I needed to deal with. And the reason why I was doing that is because I just didn't want to waste any time. I just didn't want to spend more time than I had to do it on. And that has now transferred through to everything that I do. So when I was doing all my own figures and collating rents and things like that, I remember trying to do that during the weekdays. And it was so difficult because my emails would be pinging and my phone would be going off. And it would take me like 2 days to collate these monthly figures for rental income and things like that. And I thought, this is just a waste of my time. I'm now locked in my office for 2 days because I'm not very efficient on doing these numbers. So what I decided to do was I wouldn't worry about doing the figures on a weekday. I'd plan it. So either on a Saturday or a Sunday when my wife would go and visit her mum and dad with the children, I'd have a space of time where I'd have no distractions. It was the weekend, so my phone was pretty quiet, and literally I could sit there on the sofa with the TV on with something I wanted to watch in the background. I could literally chill out, watch something that I've been wanting to watch on my own, and have the solitude to bang these figures out. And I was doing them in like half a day. And I didn't plan to do that because I'm super efficient. I planned to do it because I'm pretty lazy, you know. I think I'm the world's laziest person. Why should you get lazy? Why is that a benefit to you? So you can choose to either be the Energizer Bunny. You can remember them on the adverts banging the symbols together right at the front, trying to firefight everything that's going on, trying to deal with every potential problem that's coming up, and always be really, really busy. You know, you see them in the offices, the paper pushers, the really busy guys. Or you can take a step and go and stand at the back of the room and you can just observe everything. And you can plan things preemptively, deal with things correctly so they don't ever become a problem. So you buy a new house, you proactively deal with the utilities, the council tax. You know, you set up a development, you put everything in place at the start. With the architect, the project manager, and you make sure that there's no stone unturned. I'm a stickler for making sure that everyone is black and white. I hate grey areas. So you do that at the start, and it makes your life easier. From the back of the room, you can observe. And when things do come up, don't necessarily be the person to jump in and start pointing the finger and making people accountable. I've seen it so many times on medium to large size projects where you're dealing with 6, 7 different individuals all working for different companies, but their expertise are required within this group of professionals to take a project forward. And when someone points the finger at someone else, someone makes a mistake, and the person at the top of the tree, which is you and me, has to step in, don't necessarily step straight in. Sometimes let it sit there for the day, maybe 2. And what tends to happen is the issue will resolve itself through the other people, or the individual will come up with a solution, and that solution will be supported And all of a sudden, the problem has resolved itself because all you've done is not get involved. And I've lost count how many times that's happened. And through that, I've now been able to, instead of reacting to emails, you can come in and you can spend a period of time every day dealing with those emails, but not necessarily dealing with them as and when they come in. So how else is being lazy going to help you? For me, I've tried to do the physical work myself, and I remember my very first project. Builders, we had to get them, had to get them off the site. The work wasn't great. We paid them the money. They weren't doing what they were doing anyway. Long story short, they had to go. And I remember loading a big sort of bin full of rubbish at the back, and it was pouring with rain, freezing cold. And then I'd have to walk through the house because it was a mid-terrace house, and I was loading a skip up, and that was back-breaking work, really hard work. And then I'd stay there for the night, and in the morning when I cleared it, I'd then start painting the skirting board or stripping the fireplace, grouting the tiles, whatever it was. I had no skill set, I've never done a trade or been a tradesperson, and I remember trying to muddle my way through thinking, oh, I'm not paying tradespeople, so I could just try and achieve this. But what ended up happening is I did it wrong, and I had to bring in the trades, not only to finish off the work, but put right the work that I'd done. And when I started ramping up my investments and developments, I realised that the way I'm going to do this is by not getting involved in the physical side. So that was the first sort of tick for me, was don't get involved in the physical side. Even though sometimes I'd turn up to a project and it was really easy just for me to carry something in, or really easy for me to help scrape a wall, or whatever it may be. But I never did. And some of the people, some friends of mine, some of the people I work with, they don't get it. They do the work themselves, and they wonder why I don't just do this and I don't just do that. Well, it's maybe because I'm getting lazy. But the reality is, I physically am not prepared to do that because I want to observe from the back, and I want to do multiple projects, and I don't want to get bogged down with the detail. When I did my first project, I got really bogged down with the detail because I didn't know how to do certain things, and that actually can scare some people. That can scare you into not doing future projects. I remember not being able to fit a door on an appliance because it was an integrated appliance, and trying to muddle through it, and I didn't have the right tool, and that was really scaring me and worrying me that I wasn't going to fit this properly. But if I bring in a kitchen fitter, he does it in literally an hour, and it's easy for him. And the same is said with all of your professionals. I went to university, and I was there for a year and a bit. Halfway through my second year, I left. I studied architecture. I could quite easily go around a house and take the measurements and submit the drawings. I don't ever do that. I don't think I've ever done that. I bring in an architect because I'm not just paying for someone to come and measure a certain survey. I'm paying for them to get it right. So if it's wrong, the liability is on them. I'm paying for their expertise. I'm paying for their knowledge. And that has helped me dozens and dozens of times. So I won't get involved in anything that I can bring in a professional to oversee and do. And that includes the architects, that includes the accountants, that includes the mortgage brokers, that includes the letting agencies, the sales agents, whatever it may be. And that has enabled me over time to lose the fear of doing these multiple projects. And when you lose the fear, you can then start to look into areas that you potentially wouldn't look at before. And I remember this barn that I've just converted. I was leafleting it for years, and I just wanted that barn. And when I bought the barn and we looked inside it, and there's all these old beams, 450 years old. And I remember thinking, wow, these are so amazing. These beams are absolutely beautiful. And when I brought some friends of mine in who were builders, they looked at it and they went, fuck me, what have you bought? We just couldn't even think about doing this. And that's the difference. These guys, far more experienced than me, nicer guys than me, far more successful, and really, really, I admire them, everything they've done. But they looked at this project with a completely different set of eyes than I did. And that optimism, maybe a bit of naivety, but what it is 100%, whether you agree or disagree with me, is it was a view that I could take this challenge on and complete it. And we did. And I didn't do it on my own. I did it with all the right professionals and all the right builders. So why do I think you should get lazy? The reality is there's like a spectrum. There's like a 1 to 100 spectrum of being lazy. And where do you sit on it? Now, I'm not talking about being here right at 100% lazy and sitting on the sofa all day, every day, ordering a Deliveroo of your McDonald's and having McDonald's for breakfast and a Burger King for lunch and a KFC for dinner and just sitting there watching TV all day. I'm not talking about that level of lazy. And at the same time, I'm not talking about right here at sort of 1% where you should always find something to do and never sit down and never have a break and never just chill out because you need to be busy, because being busy means that you're going to be successful, or working hard means you're going to make loads of money, because that isn't necessarily true. It's about finding the happy medium, and definitely throughout your day, throughout your week, and throughout your career, this scale will change. But for me, it's definitely about finding that happy medium. So what I encourage everyone to do is plan your day and plan your week and not cram too much in, and plan to do the activities that you can do in dead time. So if I'm ever at home with my kids or my wife and I see a phone call coming in, and it's not a phone call that I necessarily need to deal with there and then, but it's a phone call that I need to have, and I need to have a conversation with someone and we need to go over some things, I'll hold that phone call off until I'm in the car, because car time is dead time. Especially for those of you who are traveling around the country, or your portfolio, or your investments, or your developments are a little bit further away. For me, it's slightly different because I do only invest in one area, and it tends to not be far from where I live. But there's still dead time in traffic, dead time in the car. So try and use dead time where you can legally. Don't touch your phone while you're driving. So that's kind of point one. Point two, dealing with emails. So I think I get around 350 emails every single day. Now, I could literally be on my phone all the time, and I'm on my phone a lot dealing with emails, but what I do is, if I see an email that doesn't need me to deal with it there and then, I'll hold it off. And my email inbox will build up, from anything from 10 to 15 up to 200 over a day. But over the course of a week, those emails get dealt with, or they deal with themselves, and they can come off. And that enables me to deal with multiple things going on at the same time and letting the professionals do what they're paid to do. So point two is learn to deal with your emails in a more efficient way. Point three, make time for yourself. So for me, fitness, gym time is a must. Definitely Monday to Friday, but I do tend to try and go over the weekends. Now, I used to get up really early and go straight to the gym, and I'd struggle because I was still kind of waking up. So now I still wake up early, but I always have a cup of coffee and I watch some sort of morning news, check my phone, Facebook, emails, that sort of thing, Instagram. And then after I've sort of chilled out and had some downtime with the children, I'll go to the gym as they're leaving to go to school. So I've had my nice morning with them, and my gym time hasn't sacrificed any sort of family time that I've been able to sort of get in the mornings. And I'll go to the gym, but I won't go to the gym for 2 hours. I am, again, a lazy person, so I want to get maximum amount out of my workout for my body and my time. So I superset absolutely everything. What does that mean? So I piggyback 2 exercises, one after the other. So if I'm training my arms, I'll do a bicep and then a tricep, and I'll rest. And whilst I'm resting, I'll check my phone, and I'll make sure I don't check that phone for more than a couple of minutes, and then I'll go into the next set. And literally, I'll squeeze my workout in about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. And sometimes I get to the gym and there's people I know they're already working out, and I do my workout and I leave while they're still doing theirs. And that's fine, that's up to them. But for me, I want to do as much as I can in a short space amount of time and get out so I can get on with my day. And even if you don't have much on in the day, get into that habit, get into that routine. 40 minutes on the treadmill followed by 40 minutes of weightlifting may not necessarily be the best workout for you. For me, next to what else I do outside of the gym, doing supersets of weight training in about 45-minute set is perfect. And I get my cardio in when I train basketball, or I do boxing, or I do my kung fu in the evening. So gym time in the mornings, weightlifting, 45 minutes, bang. Point four, time vampires. These are these are the people that you deal with. They might be suppliers, they might be tenants, they might be friends, or whatever. And these are the people that don't want to send you emails. They want to pick up the phone to you over everything. And not necessarily pick up the phone, they have to come and meet you face to face. The amount of times where we've had a problem on a project, and the individual running the project, or the builder, or whatever, they want to come and meet me face to face, and they want to tell me for an hour about the problem, and then they want to discuss another hour about the solution, and then they want to talk about all their family and all the bits and pieces going on for another hour. Before you know, you've lost 2-3 hours in your day talking about a problem which I don't even know how to resolve. It should be the other professional. So avoid these time vampires like the plague. And when they come, because it's not a case of if, it's when they come, you need to quickly show them that how your interaction how the interaction with you works. And it's emails, phone calls, And if it is a meeting, it's a planned meeting which has an agenda and it has a way to get in and out in the time period. In the end, one of these guys, I had to start saying to him, look, you can't just turn up and expect me to give you 2 hours of my time. You need to call me and text me. And very soon, because there was no grey areas, it was black and white, he stopped doing it. And the problems, he started going to the right professional, and the professional that he was dealing with would then tell me about it, and we'd have a conversation about how to resolve it. So time vampires, avoid them. Point 6, so plan your day to get back to doing nothing. So if you've got to see 4 different people or 4 different projects in one day, that's absolutely fine. Plan what you're going to do at each project and then go. And plan to be back doing nothing, wherever it is, your home, your office, wherever, by a certain time, and reverse engineer it back. What do I mean by that? So if I've got to see 4 projects in a day, which one can I get at earliest? So if it's a development project and the builders are all on site for 8 o'clock, then I can go and see that project at 8 o'clock. And if I've got to meet certain suppliers or certain professionals there, then I'll get them all there at the same time. I won't say, yeah, you come at 8 and you come at 9 and you come at 10. I'll say, right, you come at 8 and you come at 8 and you come at 8, and we'll have a collective meeting. Sometimes you can't do that. So you have to distance yourself maybe 15, 20 minutes between the two. But don't leave an hour, because I bet your bottom dollar, you'll finish your first meeting, 15, 20 minutes, and you'll be waiting for 45 minutes for the next guy. So squeeze them all in at the same time. Then the next site meeting or the next project you need to go and see might be something to show tenants around. And you might have 1, 2, 3 or 4 different types of groups of tenants to show around. Again, get them there all at the same time. There's no point in planning 15-minute intervals. The other reason for doing this is that if you get 2 or 3 different tenants all turn up at the same time, they all know that there's other people looking at it. So there's a reason for them to be incentivized to give you an answer and take the property. So again, shorten the space of time. If you're going to see a supplier, get an agenda pre-agreed. Or if you're going to see someone about a kitchen design, get them to already have been out to the property, measured it up, planned and done the design, and you're just going there to tick it off or make some changes. There's pointless you going there and watching someone over a screen design a kitchen for an hour. So plan your time with whatever supplier you're going to see. Anyway, so I'm going to get back to my lazy Sunday, because I want to watch some TV, some stuff that I've recorded that I can watch now all on my own, and I'm going to let you guys get back to your Sunday and chilling out and not worrying too much. Monday is coming, everyone will be back to work, so everything that you're worrying about today will be there again tomorrow, so there's no point in worrying about today. You can deal with it all then. So that's my video about being lazy, guys. I hope you've all enjoyed it. I hope some of you have picked something up from it. Don't forget to smash the like button and don't forget to hit subscribe. I'm Dan Trevidi. I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next video. See you soon.